I discovered Django Reinhardt while studying jazz guitar. Soon after that, I formed my own group called the Hot Club of Detroit, which is a guitar duo, 2 guitars, playing the music of Django Reinhardt. Upon my return to Detroit, where I'm from, I decided to keep pursuing this music, and at Wayne State University formed a jazz combo, still called the Hot Club of Detroit. This is also where I met the rest of the guys in the band. The group got better and better. Not long after that, we hooked up with Gretchen Valaden from Mack Avenue Records, which we were very thankful for, and she brought us on her record label, and the rest is history. I love all music and all different styles, but I guess the one that speaks to me most to my heart is gypsy jazz, and trying to recreate the virtuosity that Django Reinhardt created in this world.
I had just moved from France to the United States to actually study and learn more about jazz, and I come to Detroit out of all places, and I hear Evan Perry playing French music and Django Reinhardt. The accordion in France is really strong and very popular instrument. So the accordion I play is it might be unusual for most of the people, especially in the United States. It's actually a button accordion. It has all buttons, so it looks like a gigantic typewriter. So it's actually, a lot of people, I get a lot of that. What is that you play? They I've never seen that kind of accordion. It's just a gigantic typewriter where I get a lot of sounds out of it. And it's kind of a different system than the regular piano accordion that people might be familiar with. Well, many people inspire me. I mean, it's a constant learning experience. The more I get older, the more I get involved in different styles of music, and I get a lot of influence. It's like a culture, and I love learning about people, and I love about sharing stories, and so I get influenced by all of that.
Shannon Wade, the bassist, brings just a drive, a rhythm, and a power to the rhythm section of the band that is hard to find these days with bass players.
So he's the anchor of the band in a way, and he's got great personality and great musicianship, and it's really a pleasure to share this music.
He can really swing hard. He's a great soloist on the instrument. He's got a lot of chops. He's a well-trained classical musician, studied with Edgar Meyer at Vanderbilt University, and he's played in orchestras, and played like Walter Page and Milt Hinton, and really dig into that old school slapping swing bass style.
We're great friends, and I look forward to many years of playing with Shannon, and he brings just a really great element to the band.
They needed another guitarist to play with them in the Detroit Jazz Festival, and Evan called me up, and I went and did that gig, did a couple rehearsals with them, and did that gig, and afterwards I was going back to Chicago, and I just said, hey, it was really great. If you ever need me again, just let me know. I'll make the effort to get back into town. About, I want to say like a week or two later, Evan called me up and said, Hot Club Detroit is, it's looking like we're going to get signed with Mack Avenue Records, and we're wondering if you want to be a part of it. I, of course, said yes right away. I play classical guitar as well, and I can really only describe myself as a classical music fanatic. Django Reinhardt continues to be my favorite musician and just my favorite character. His jazz guitar playing was ahead of its time, and he remains, to this day, certainly one of the most influential musicians of his era.
Our saxophone player, Kafna, plays tenor and soprano saxophone. We are very lucky to have him in the group. He brings a world of knowledge from all forms of jazz and a maturity level to the group that fits in with the rest of us. Carl has been playing jazz in Detroit for many years and has had many successful groups in Detroit, and the sound I was looking for the soprano and the sax he just encompassed. And we had known each other before he joined the band, and I had actually gigged with him several times, and I just knew he was going to be a perfect fit, and sure enough he was.
He plays everything: clarinet, alto, bari, flute. He even plays the drums and sings. But Carl is definitely a multi-instrumentalist, very, very talented. He can learn tunes like that. You play him a melody once and he's got it and he never forgets it.
He's a really amazing musician, and I've learned a lot from him as far as on the human relationship and also musically. He just brought a very different color to the band. Every time I talk with him, pretty much I learn something, and he's really cool, and he's good to hang out with, and a good bandmate. And it's a pleasure to have him with us.
A lot of the music on Nightown were some of those trials for us. developing that, I guess you'd call, signature sound of the Hot Club of Detroit.
It was easier on us all, I think, the second time around. Going into a studio and you sort of know the ropes at this time. You know how the producer's going to work, you know how the engineer works, you know how each other work, and you know, you learn how to do it better.
It's gotten to the point now where we're just like functioning in this like symbiotic type relationship. I can predict what Julian's going to do and vice versa, and with Carl now we're all on the same page. With the album, it's kind of it's kind of a more polished, tighter version of what we do live.
We have a little bit of the bebop with Carl playing saxophone. We got some blues, we have some classical music, we have some New Orleans music, we got some Brazilian things.
We're careful not to abandon sort of what the purists who like this music are into. You know, we're not straying so far away from what we did on the first record, so that people are going to get angry.
I guess my three favorite tracks of the album are the three originals we have on it. Partly because they're our own songs that we created, and they show a good amount of diversity with our writing within the band. The song Swing 05 is a nice hard-hitting swing, traditional gypsy jazz tune. The title track, Nighttown, is a nice ballad, real slow-burning melody that kind of dives into some thicker harmonies. 2 Weeks is one of my favorites on the album, definitely. It's a flamenco kind of rhythm with some little more advanced harmony and just a wonderful melody presentation by Julian and Carl.
I also really like J'attendrai, which is a traditional French song, and it's a traditional also gypsy. It's played by a lot of gypsy jazz group around, and we thought to keep our identity to include that track. And I really like our rendition of Coquette. We put a nice Brazilian twist, which was Paul's idea, collaboration with Evan, and we thought it worked pretty well.
I really like Blues Up and Down, which gave us, it was brought to the group from the tenor player, Carl Kafna, you know, as being an original tenor battle tune by Gene Ammons and Sonny Stitt. Django's Monkey, to listen to Shannon play the bass on that song, because he's just got this great groove. He's a really great New Orleans, Dixieland type bass player. The Sweet Substitute by Jelly Roll Morton, which Shannon originally, from time to time we'd have some vocals. We switched it up and had Carl play the melody for that on the soprano sax, and Carl's a singer himself also, and really phrased the melody nicely. It just goes to show you the collaborative effort of bringing tunes to the table. That was, you know, a song that none of us had really heard before, but something that Shannon really dug, and it worked out great. We took a very popular Django Reinhardt song called Django's Tiger and put the Hot Club stamp on it. You know, we changed the feel a little bit, but the melody's still there, and the harmony, and so people are gonna identify with that. But we also gave it a new twist.
One of the great things about this music is that the demographic is right across the board. It's from, you know, people 18 years old to 80 years old, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. And it's more the younger people, you know, from age 18 to 30 are becoming aware of this music now because of us playing around.
The young people of our age, they're like, you know, I never heard this, but I really like it, and I really dig it. It's like so entertaining, and you know, so it's funny to actually see how wide we can get of an audience, because anybody will come and listen to us and just, I think they dig the music because it's simple to understand, but it's also, they really like the whole atmosphere that comes with it. It brings all sorts of people to the music, and it makes us feel good, it makes us feel happy, and you know, to be able to share a passion that you have for a certain kind of music and see someone else on the other side of that stage digging what you do, and that's priceless. And that's what we do.
In the future, it's just play as much as we can, travel wherever we can, play for whatever crowds we can, and keep this spirit alive in this group. Keep the Django spirit alive. There was a sense in our minds that we wanted to keep growing and keep changing, because I don't think the band will ever stay the same, and I think it will always keep evolving into something next. So, you know, whatever the next stage is, you know, we'll get there, and I'm not deliberate about getting to the next stage. It will just happen.